Welcome to Bills Nation Daily, your ultimate daily dose of everything Buffalo Bills. Hit that subscribe button and join the most passionate Bills fans as we break down all the latest news, highlights, and game analysis. Go Bills! The tension inside the Buffalo Bills locker room has reportedly hit a boiling point, and the name at the center of all this chaos is none other than quarterback Josh Allen. According to sources close to the team, head coach Sean McDermott allegedly lost it during a closed-door meeting earlier this week, expressing frustration and even hinting that he's ready to move on from his star player. Now, before anyone freaks out, this doesn't mean Allen is packing his bags tomorrow, but the tone behind McDermott's outburst was intense, raw, and, frankly, shocking for those who've witnessed the usually composed coach. Imagine that. One of the NFL's most respected defensive minds, a guy known for his discipline and leadership, reportedly shouting that he's done with the franchise quarterback who put Buffalo back on the map. Insiders claim it wasn't just about performance. It was about attitude, accountability, and control. McDermott apparently feels Allen's personality has grown too big for the room, too relaxed, too confident, almost like he's untouchable. And for a coach who built this team on humility, discipline, and grind, that's a recipe for internal combustion. The locker room atmosphere, according to whispers, has shifted from camaraderie to tension, and McDermott might have just reached his breaking point. Behind the scenes, there's been talk that McDermott and Allen's relationship has been cooling for months. Early in the season, the two reportedly clashed over play-calling decisions and sideline communication, with sources saying McDermott felt Allen was taking too many liberties with audibles and freelancing beyond the system. While that kind of creativity can sometimes win games, it can also drive a defensive-minded coach crazy when it leads to turnovers or missed opportunities. And lately, Allen's tendency to play hero ball has reportedly worn thin. One insider said McDermott sees it as reckless arrogance, while Allen sees it as doing whatever it takes to win. That difference in philosophy has slowly turned into a wall between them, and last week's reported locker room blow-up might have been the final crack that made it collapse. Imagine the emotional cocktail inside that room. A proud coach who feels disrespected, a franchise quarterback who feels unappreciated, and teammates stuck in the middle, unsure which side to stand on. It's the kind of friction that can either explode into a full-blown disaster or spark a turnaround story for the ages. Now, here's where it gets wild. McDermott's alleged comments didn't just come in frustration. They reportedly included an open admission that he's thought about life after Josh Allen. Yeah, you heard that right. One of the league's top coaches talking about a future without his superstar quarterback. That's the kind of quote that sends ripples through an organization. Some within the Bills front office are apparently scrambling to do damage control, downplaying the situation as emotional heat. But others are starting to wonder if this is the beginning of the end of the McDermott-Allen era. It's almost unthinkable when you remember how far they've come together, from being playoff hopefuls to consistent contenders in the AFC. But success breeds pressure, and pressure reveals cracks. McDermott reportedly feels that Allen has stopped responding to tough coaching, while Allen allegedly believes McDermott's defensive mindset is limiting the offense's creativity. That's oil and water right there, and it's starting to spill out into public view, even if the team's PR department is trying desperately to mop it up before the media storm hits full force. The fans, of course, are freaking out. Social media has exploded with debates, memes, and speculation. Some are calling McDermott ungrateful, saying you should remember the dark days before Allen arrived, the years when Buffalo was an afterthought. Others are backing McDermott, arguing that Allen's reckless style has cost them key games and that his superstar status has made him untouchable. You scroll through Bills fan pages, and it's chaos. People arguing like it's a family feud. Some claim McDermott is trying to send a message, not start a mutiny. Others think this is all a smokescreen, a psychological ploy to motivate Allen. Either way, it's working. Everyone's talking about it. And let's be honest, this kind of drama is rare in Buffalo. The city's football culture is all about loyalty, grit, and togetherness. But now that image is cracking under the weight of egos and expectations. The truth? If this rift isn't fixed soon, it could define the franchise's next decade, one way or another. What's interesting is how quiet both McDermott and Allen have been publicly. Normally, you'd see damage control by now, statements about respect and family, the usual PR fluff. But this time, silence. That silence speaks volumes. Insiders say the front office is urging both men to cool down, to let emotions settle. But privately, McDermott isn't hiding his frustration. Some players reportedly walked out of that meeting in shock, whispering that they'd never seen him so angry. Apparently, he slammed his hand on the table and said something along the lines of, "If he doesn't want to be coached, he doesn't need to be here." That line has been echoing around the locker room ever since. Some took it literally, others as pure passion in the heat of the moment. But either way, it's created a storm of uncertainty. And you can feel it. Every practice, every media session, every sideline glance now carries extra weight. Buffalo's once rock-solid foundation suddenly feels shaky. To make things even more dramatic, there are whispers that McDermott's frustration isn't just about football. It's about leadership. He reportedly feels Allen has become too close to certain players, creating small cliques within the locker room that undermine his authority. Coaches hate that. Once the locker room starts to split, control becomes an illusion. And while Allen is beloved by fans and teammates for his energy and charisma, that same charm can turn dangerous if it starts pulling the team away from its core discipline. Some say McDermott feels betrayed, like the quarterback he groomed and defended for years has outgrown him. Others believe he's simply cracking under the weight of constant expectations, tired of being the one blamed when things go wrong. Whatever the case, this isn't just a football issue. It's a power struggle, a battle of philosophy and pride. And if these two can't find a way to bridge the gap soon, Buffalo might be heading for an offseason no one saw coming. Now imagine what happens if this rumor turns into reality. Picture Sean McDermott sitting down with the front office and saying, "We need to consider trading Josh Allen." The NFL world would implode. ESPN, Fox, every sports outlet on the planet would turn Buffalo into the epicenter of chaos. But crazy as it sounds, some insiders believe McDermott might be testing the waters, gauging whether ownership would even entertain such an idea. After all, McDermott has always preached accountability over star power. If he feels Allen's become uncoachable, he might genuinely believe the team could rebuild its culture without him. That's a bold stance, maybe even career suicide, but McDermott isn't exactly known for playing politics. He's a control guy, a system guy, a coach who wants everyone rowing in the same direction. So if he truly believes Allen's ego has derailed that unity, then, in his mind, a shakeup might be the only way forward. Of course, from a fan's perspective, that's pure madness. You don't just walk away from a franchise quarterback in his prime. But in McDermott's eyes, principles might be more valuable than highlight reels. And what about Josh Allen himself? Those close to him describe a player who's growing increasingly frustrated with what he perceives as McDermott's tight grip over the offense. Allen reportedly wants more freedom, more input in game plans, more creative control, something you see in elite quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow. But McDermott, being a defensive mind, values structure and risk management. That's where the philosophical clash gets real. Allen wants to play loose, instinctive, and electric, while McDermott wants him to play smart, disciplined, and by the book. When those styles collide, sparks fly. One teammate supposedly said, "Josh wants to fly. Sean wants to build fences." That sums it up perfectly. And when a coach feels his quarterback isn't buying in, trust breaks. Without trust, leadership collapses. The scary part is that once that relationship is fractured, it's nearly impossible to rebuild. What we might be witnessing right now is the early stage of a breakup that could redefine Buffalo's future forever. In the middle of all this, the locker room has become a pressure cooker. Some players reportedly side with Allen, saying his passion and risk-taking inspire the team. Others side with McDermott, believing his discipline and attention to detail keep them grounded. The divide isn't public yet, but whispers are getting louder. During team meetings, the energy feels different, stiffer, more cautious. Veterans who've been with the team for years say this is the first time they've truly felt uncertainty about the team's direction. That's dangerous. Once doubt seeps in, it spreads like wildfire. It affects performance, chemistry, even confidence. Suddenly, small mistakes feel bigger, simple disagreements turn into arguments, and everyone starts watching their words. For a team that's prided itself on unity and toughness, this kind of internal tension could derail an entire season. The Bills have battled through adversity before, but this time it's not about injuries or opponents. It's about the people inside the building. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments. What makes this situation so fascinating is how both men are justified in their own ways. McDermott's perspective isn't entirely wrong. He's trying to preserve the team's culture and accountability. Allen's viewpoint isn't wrong either. He's trying to evolve as a leader and unleash the full potential of the offense. But sometimes two right people can still create the wrong combination. It's like oil and water, both essential, but they don't mix easily. And now the entire NFL is watching to see who blinks first. Does McDermott back down and rebuild trust, or does Allen push harder for autonomy, risking an even bigger rift? It's a high-stakes game of pride and control, and neither side seems ready to fold. The question isn't just about football anymore. It's about identity. Who defines the Bills? The coach who built the foundation, or the quarterback who brought it to life? That's the battle quietly raging behind the walls of Highmark Stadium. If this rumor keeps growing, the pressure from ownership could force a breaking point. The Pagulas aren't known for tolerating dysfunction. They might step in, call both men into a room, and demand peace, or start considering drastic changes. That could mean reshuffling the staff, redefining roles, or, in the most dramatic scenario, letting one of them go. The idea of Sean McDermott leaving Buffalo feels unthinkable, but so does the notion of Josh Allen wearing another jersey. Yet, history tells us that even great partnerships can crumble when egos collide. Belichick and Brady, Carroll and Wilson, it happens. The Bills could be next in line. The difference is that this drama feels personal, not just professional. It's about belief systems clashing under the bright lights of expectation. And once that kind of fire starts burning, it rarely goes out quietly. Fans better buckle up because this story might just be getting started. Still, hope isn't lost. Some voices inside the organization believe time and transparency could heal the wound. They say both McDermott and Allen care too much about winning to let pride destroy everything they've built. Maybe this explosion was necessary, a brutal but honest confrontation that forces both men to reset, reevaluate, and come back stronger. Every great dynasty faces moments like this, moments where leadership is tested and egos must bend for the greater good. If McDermott and Allen can swallow their pride and refocus on what made them great together, Buffalo could emerge from this stronger than ever. But if they can't, if this power struggle keeps simmering, then the Bills' golden era might end not with a championship, but with a breakup that fans will talk about for decades. Either way, this story has all the makings of NFL legend: talent, tension, pride, and the thin line between greatness and collapse. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update.